You're the
So,
man.
yes, sir. You're the man, brother. Rufai. Okay, here we go. So I'm waiting on notification. Okay, and here we go. 1 second. Okay, and boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast. We have an amazing guest with us this evening, one who knew me and my family and my siblings growing up, and he was the first person who ever taught me Arabic, the alphabet. I mean, he just was so patient, and he used to do the kuba at Juma. And I mean, just I learned so much from you, brother Rufai. First of all, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, brother Joshua. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir.
It's
And
good
I
to
want,
see you after so many years.
yes, sir. And I want to make sure I thank you again for your patience with me, sir. And I want to let you
Well,
know
I had no choice.
that.
I had no choice. Brother Robert, Dr. Robert Mohammed called me
Yes,
and he
sir.
said, Brother Joshua is trying to reach you. I said, which Brother Joshua? And then he said, Brother Sharif's son Joshua. I said, Joshua? Little Joshua? He said, yes. I said, little Joshua is making a podcast? He said, yes, sir. I said, well, no problem. I talked to him. But you have to understand that every good teacher has to be patient with his students.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, you cannot be a good teacher if you are impatient with your students. You always have to know that students come to you with different backgrounds. And if you want to be able to reach them, then you have to be patient enough to explain what you are teaching so that they can understand. If you don't have that patience, then you're not fit to be a teacher.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Okay. Well, my first question for you is, how did you first um how did you first get connected? How did you start teaching Juma and doing the kuba at Mas Maria?
Well, I think the first question should be, how did you meet Mr. Farrakhan?
Okay, well go ahead then. Go
Because
ahead then.
because if I had not met the minister,
Yes, sir.
and if the minister had not facilitated my coming to the United States,
Mm,
I would not have been in a position to even give the khutbah at all.
mm.
So where we start is how I met the minister.
Okay, yes, sir.
And that was in December 1985
Mm,
in Nigeria. I was a student at the University of Ibadan, and the minister was on his world tour, came to Nigeria to speak. I had gone to a symposium on law at the Nigerian Law School, together with other Muslim students from the University of Ibadan. We went to the symposium, and the minister was giving the closing remarks at that time. Now, I have heard about him when he gave his, when he spoke at Washington, D.C., where he warned President Reagan. So that particular, speech in 1985 had been something that we saw on the news. So that is how I heard about him.
yes, sir.
And I also remember, his name, of course, when I read the autobiography of Malcolm. All right. So when I went to the symposium with other other students, Muslim students from the University of Ibadan, and we heard him speak. He spoke for just about 15 minutes. And we got so much from that 15 minutes. I said, man, I need to hear more from this man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
we were told that he was going to speak at the National Theater the following day. So I convinced the president of the Muslim Students Association at the time, Brother Tawfiq Abdulaziz. I convinced him, I said, Brother Tawfiq, please, let us spend the night in Lagos, because we came from another town. Let us spend the night here in Lagos, so the following day, we can go and listen to Minister Farrakhan. And they all agreed with me. They were all excited about, when they heard him, they were all excited about learning more, getting to hear more from him. So we went to the National Theater in Lagos, only to find police with machine guns surrounding the whole theater. They told us that the event is canceled, that there was nothing, the event was not going to take place. Fortunately, we saw Brother Khalid, Dr. Khalid Mohammed. We saw him, and he was the one who made us to know what was going on. And we were upset. So we said, look, let us go and meet him, because it's around the same time when a German evangelist was in Nigeria and had been allowed to preach in Kano, which is a Muslim enclave. It's a Muslim town, historically and always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they live under the Sharia. And yet he was able to preach openly. But here we have a Muslim leader who has paid for this venue, and he was not being allowed to speak. We felt there's a double standard there. So our immediate reaction was we were going to meet with him and then discuss how we can, find out what was going on. And then our plan was to organize a nationwide, student protests by Muslim students all over the country protesting the treatment of Mr. Farrakhan. So when we got there and we met with him, I think our meeting with him was just about 7 minutes. I even have the picture. I got the picture of that first meeting. When we met him at the Sheraton Hotel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So after the meeting, during that meeting, Sheikh Tijani also, happened to be around. So Brother Khalid asked him to join us. So after the meeting, Brother Minister pulled Sheikh Tijani and myself. When everybody was leaving, he pulled the two of us and he said, "This is my itinerary. I'm going to Ghana, I'm going to Burkina Faso, I'm going to Benin, I'm going to Cote d'Ivoire." Give us all the places he was going, and he said, "And I would like you to go with me." Now, I've never met him before. We've never met before. Yes, that was my first time. And it was uncharacteristic of me. A situation like that, I'll say, okay, let me think about it or something like that. But all of a sudden, because it was the final semester, I was in the final semester of my first bachelor's degree. Yes, and I had a major assignment, research that I needed to do in order to graduate, and I've not finished the research. So when he said, "I want you to go with me," I said, "Yes, sir." I just agreed like that, without thinking about it. So when I came out and I told my colleagues, my fellow Muslim brothers, that the minister has asked me to travel with him and I've agreed, they looked at me and said, "Are you out of your mind? You're in the final year, in the final semester of your degree. You will not be of any use to him if you don't get that degree, nor would you be of any use to Islam. You should go back in there and apologize." I said, "When I give my word, I don't go back on my word." So the fact that I told him, yes, I will stick to it, and I'm not going back, on that. They were very upset with me, and they left Lagos without me. They decided to even leave without me. So I had to take a taxi, to get home to my cousin's house in Lagos. So that is how I traveled with the minister. And we went to, he didn't even know that I had any connection with Ghana at the time. So when we got to Ghana and he met my mother and he saw my siblings and he met my uncle who gave him a kaftan, a custom-made kaftan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was when he realized, "Oh, so you're from Ghana too?" And I said, "Yes, sir, brother minister." So from Ghana, of course, when we, during that travel in Libya, he said he would invite me over, invite Sheikh Tijani, myself. He said he would invite us over to the United States to come and help him, And I said, "No problem." So that was how we met. And that was the first time I met your father. Because I remember when we were in Libya, it was just your father, Brother Salim, may Allah bless his soul.
Yes, sir.
And myself and Brother Tijani, we were the only 4 people with the minister. So I got a first crash, a crash course in security. Being an FOI at that time, had a crash course. So when we were working, sometimes one of us would be on the left, one would be on the right, one would be in the front, one would be behind him. And we would just be looking all over the place, trying to make sure that no hanky-panky taking place somewhere. And when we're in the hall for this program, we will also be taught us how to be security conscious,
Yes, sir.
Around us. So that is how we met, and with the promise that he will invite me over. My first invitation came in 1986. That's the following year. But because I was doing my national service, I didn't get the message. And the second message came in 1989 for the, for the opening of Mosque Mariam, for the dedication of Mosque Mariam. And I got that second invitation and, came. February 22, 1989 was when I arrived in Chicago. Now, going after that to how I then started teaching. When I first came in 1989, February 22, Brother Tijani and myself were put in the hotel, the McCormick Hotel. It's where we stayed. And then after Savior's Day was over, the minister had us, in the National House, and we were in the Blue Room. The Blue Room is the room where his mother, may Allah bless her soul, his mother lived until her last moment. She spent her last moments in that Blue Room.
Yes, sir.
And that was the room that the minister put Brother Tijani and myself. That's a great honor.
Yes, sir.
That's a great honor. And after, some time, I decided that I wanted to, go and join my brothers. I had some brothers who were in Oklahoma. One was in Tulsa, in Atlanta. He's actually a professor at Clark Atlanta University. And then, and he's been there for about 40 years. And then I have another one who is a doctor in Cleveland. And I was thinking of, going to perhaps spend the last 6 months that I have with one of them. And I went to the minister and I said, Brother Minister, this is my plan. I want to be able to go and spend, the time with these brothers and all of that. But I need your advice because you brought me here for a reason, and I want to, seek your advice on what to do. And he said, well, what I would like you to do is, you are a journalist. I would like you to write for the Final Call newspaper. And I would also like you to help me teach the FOI about the Sunnah of the Prophet. And because I want them to know that the foundation of Elijah Muhammad is Muhammad ibn Abdullah, so I would like you to do that for me. And then he also added that when Muhammad University is open, he would like me to, help him teach the children, Arabic. So that is how that came about. Now, in the course of, so what he told me, in other words, is that he would prefer that I stay in Chicago.
Yes, sir.
So based on that, I decided to remain in Chicago. And then in the course of being in Chicago, I ran into my wife, my first wife.
Yes, sir.
And that changed everything, because when I got married, it means that now I have to remain here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
so
sir.
The marriage, the minister performed the marriage for me at the National House. And Dr. Abdullah Nassif, who was the Secretary General of the Muslim World League, happened to be visiting the minister then, and he was a witness to the wedding. At that wedding, when he saw the minister, he discussed with the minister that he wants to organize an Islamic conference of all imams in North America, and he wants the minister to be a keynote speaker. So that meeting took place at the Palmer House, that conference, where imams from Canada and all over North America were brought together for the minister to address them. And after that, I was, one day, the minister, invited me for a meeting at the National House. We met, this was in September, and that was after my marriage.
Yes, sir.
We met, and in the course of talking, the minister said, Brother Rufai, I want to go to Jum'ah today at the mosque, and I want you to give the khutbah. Brother Joshua, this was a 45-minute notice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I had to leave the National House, go to my house on 92nd Place, take a shower, get dressed, and come to the mosque to do the khutbah. No preparation, none. I just kept wondering in my mind, what would I say? What would I say? What would I say?
You say?
Because it was, like an impromptu. So I went home. I took my shower, my dress, and rushed to the mosque, and was able to get there on time, of course. And the minister and the family, the first family were all there, and some laborers were also there. And I gave the khutbah. And I remember the subject of my khutbah was hold on to the rope of Allah and do not be disunited. So that was what I used for my subject that day. It was after that khutbah that the minister on Sunday, the following Sunday, at when we had the Sunday meeting, the minister then asked me to come to the house for dinner. And at the dinner, that day was when he told me in front of the other laborers who were there, including Brother Wali, may Allah bless his soul, that he wants me to start handling the Jum'ah from then on. So that is how I came to start giving the khutbah at Mosque Mariam. But you see, this long story has to come from a foundation because it follows the pattern that the minister had in terms of saying that he wants me to come and help him. And that was the assignment that he gave me that time, in addition to, of course, teaching at MUI.
Praise be to Allah.
And I tell you something funny about MUI.
Yes, sir.
When I started teaching at MUI, it was in the summer of 1989. I didn't know that I was going to get any charity. I thought I was doing it. I was just volunteering, to do it, and I'm not getting anything.
Yes, sir.
And I was not expecting anything. Because I had another job. I was working at a health food store on 71st and Jeffrey. So my teaching at MUI, I took that to be a voluntary thing that I'm doing for the sake of Allah, period. Until, I think about 6 months later, Sister Shelby called me and, to her office and said, Brother Rufai, I have your check sitting here for your charity. I said, charity? She said, yes. I said, I didn't. She said, you thought you were doing this for free, that you will not get anything? She said, we're not paying you any wages, but You will get some charity for your work. You have a family. So she gave me these checks that had been sitting in a drawer all this time that I have not picked up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so that became those set of checks is what I used to open my first bank account in the US. And it was at the South Shore Bank.
Yes,
Was
sir.
where I opened the bank account. And believe it or not, that money, when a year later, when we were to buy a home, that savings, that money is what I use for down payment to buy my first home. You know, so it's a whole lot of blessings that have come from that.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And Brother Rufai, when you were teaching us Arabic and so many other courses, what was your favorite part of that? Being a teacher at Imam University.
You know, being a teacher, I have to first of all start by saying, and I said this during the celebration of MUI at South Shore Cultural Center.
Yes, sir.
When you have a team of other teachers who are so inspired, fired up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can't help but be fired up as well. And when you have a leadership like that, which was provided by Sister Shelby Mohammed, you can't help, because she was the type of leader that challenged us to bring out the best in us as teachers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And she would not tell you to do something that she herself was not doing. So that was the number one motivation. The second motivation was the brothers and sisters, the teachers. When you hear the stories of how some of them sacrificed what they had, what they were, enjoying, 6-figure salaries and all of that,
Yes, sir.
they gave it up. And they came because they saw a mission that is bigger than their material gain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was very inspiring for me. And finally, the students. When you have students who are raised in good homes and they are respectful of their teacher, they appreciate what you've given them. I'm not going to mention the name because, I don't know if she wants me to, but in my course right now, where I teach at Malcolm X College now. And there's a program that I have been asked to help, coordinate, which is involves science and, knowledge of self in terms of history and, for Black students to be able to appreciate who they are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But to do it within the context of science. One of the people that I reached out to is an alumni of MUI. He's a scientist today, a scientist respected internationally because she's in the position that she's occupying can only be occupied by best scientists in this country. And she happened to be an alumni of MUI, a former student of mine. So when I called her and I said, this is what I'm doing and I need your help, not only did she respond, she designed a program for me to be able to integrate into this program that I have been asked to come up with. That's a benefit. You have students who are inspired, students who are eager to learn, students who want to soak in everything that you're giving them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you have that as a teacher, you have no choice but to always be challenged to be the best you can be, because you're dealing with students who will ask you questions that you'll be like, what? And you cannot fool them. You could not fool an MUI student.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
couldn't
sir.
tell them a lie. You know, you couldn't tell them a lie. Before they asked the question, they would have also been, informed. They had their own research. And all the students were very young.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So because of that, it inspired me. And I would tell you, it brought out, it made me who I am today. The type of teacher, the type of professor that I am today. I would not have been a professor today if it were not for that foundation, in terms of what I'm getting. Because journalism was what I loved. I thought I would be a journalist like that.
Yes,
But
sir.
MUI gave me the love of teaching, to be in the classroom, and that's why to this day, anytime I'm invited, whenever the director at MUI were to say, "But Rufai, we need you to come and help us with this," or there's a course we want to teach here and there, I don't hesitate, because I still see myself as helping, and I don't hesitate to go to MUI and still give of myself without asking for a dime. Wow. It's not about what you get, it's about what you are giving back. So whether it is at Mosque Mariam that I'm asked to come and give khutbah, or MUI that I'm asked to come and do something, I don't hesitate, because I still see myself as committed to the reason why I'm here, to help. So the best part of MUI for me was first the leadership, my fellow teachers, the students, and what we got from, oh, by the way, and Brother Abdul Allah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, Brother Abdul Allah, because I learned so much from that brother. I learned so much from him. So that's MUI for me. When you talk about Brother Abdul Allah, you're talking about that first morning, Islamic studies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You start the day with, giving a lecture, yes, and sir, teaching the students, having them, give them an Islamic studies course. That first part means that the students start their day on a spiritual level.
Oh, wow.
And so it gives the foundation for those students. And my daughters who went to MUI,
yes, sir,
they are all they are all the best of what I can expect to this day, because they got a good foundation.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. And speaking of Islamic studies, sir, what has helped you in your faith? What has helped you hold on to your faith for so long?
My parents. My parents. My father was an Islamic scholar himself. And my mother did not go to school, did not have an Quranic training.
Yes, sir.
But she was an iron rod.
Yes, sir.
In my life. My mother, one time, whooped me and made this remark: "I would rather have you dead than be my son and not be a Muslim." So my mother was very stern. My father was more relaxed and laid back. And my mother,
yes, sir,
if I did not observe my prayers, or if I failed to do what I'm supposed to do, like go to my Quranic school and all of that, and she points out,
yes, sir.
Oh man, if my mother were alive, I used to tell people that if my mother were alive, in the US, perhaps she would have been, thrown in jail for child abuse. because when it came to Islam, she did not play. My father never whooped me in my entire life except once. And that one time he whooped me was because I lied to him that I had gone to my Quranic class when I did not, for about 6 weeks. And then he found out because the teacher sent some students home to find out if I was okay, because they had not seen me in class for about 6 weeks. I used to go and play soccer when I was supposed to be in my Quranic class. So I came home, and my dad asked me, how was, Quranic school today? And I said, oh, what's good, what's good? And then he asked me, what did I learn? And I recited, to him what I learned the last time I was, I was in school.
Yes,
So he
sir.
said, oh, that's nice. And then he asked me to go and get something from the back of the house for him. I went there trying to look for that thing. I didn't see anything. By the time I turned around to see there's nothing there, he was standing there. He gave me a weapon that I'll never forget.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he said, I don't care what you do, even if you commit murder, whatever you do, never lie to me. Never lie to me. So that made me to know how serious it was for me to have told him a lie.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For my mother, she would never, like one of the things that she taught me, because she came from a very prominent family, in Ghana, the Bremer family, which holds the title of the chief of Muslim, all Muslims in Ghana. My family holds that head of the Muslim community in terms of the chieftaincy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So she came from a very prominent family, well-to-do, but she would never let me go near the family to seek for anything. She taught me to be contented with whatever I have. Whatever I have, she said, I will complain sometimes. She said, look, you can complain that you have no shoes until you see someone with no feet. That statement still sticks as, is still stuck with me to this day. You complain you have no shoes. Wait until you see someone with no feet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So whatever situation I find myself, I'm always thinking of the brighter side of it. And that comes from, her own training as well, and my father. And my father was the type who believes that you do not go to the Western school, you don't go to the white man's school until you finish your Quranic study.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So he sent me to go and live with a sheikh in Kumasi, Sheikh Usman Laden. And my mother was not to visit me. She was supposed to not visit me. If anything, I'll send me whatever it is. He sends money to the sheikh for my upkeep. That's it. But I was supposed to be there and study the Quran, Arabic, get my training Islamically before coming back to Accra.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that gave me my foundation as well. So in Accra, I was every weekend on Saturdays and Sundays, I was in my Quranic class. And then later we'll go and on weekdays, after my Quranic study in Kumasi, when I came back to Accra, I still continue my study, with Sheikh Usman, Sheikh Mohammed Awal, called Meshanu. I still continue my study, Quranic study with him after the one that I did in Kumasi with Usman Laden. And then in coming back to Accra, that was when I started my Western going to school. So in going to school, on weekdays, I was going to school. And then on weekends, I was in my Quranic study. Now, my grandmother, because my mother's mother was a Christian. So the family home where I grew up with my aunties and uncles, they were also very religious, but they were Christian.
Yes, sir.
So the Methodist school that I went to, when they are celebrating John Wesley Day or Harvest, because I was the best student in reading the Ga language. The Ga language is the local language of Accra. And in my school at the time, I was the best student in reading that language.
Yes, sir.
So they would choose me to go and read the Bible lesson in church on John Wesley Day or Harvest Day. I would be the one reading the lesson from the Bible in Ga. To the extent that my father became very concerned that, he hopes that I'm not turned into a Christian in my, mother's family home.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
that gave me a balance also in terms of understanding of, Christianity, while at the same time being a Muslim. So the values I got from both sides, helped to strengthen my faith. And in boarding school, when I went to the secondary school, I was taking my prayers, I wasn't praying regularly, performing my 5 daily prayers. I was very relaxed about it. And there was one brother, Abdul Razak Sanusi. He was the president of the Muslim students in the school at the time. This was Ahmadiyya Secondary School, Tia Ahmadiyya Secondary School in Kumasi. He wake me up for prayer in the morning. I'll get up, I'll watch him. The moment he's gone, I get back on there, go back to sleep. And then one day, Brother Abdul Razak Sanusi got so frustrated with me. He said, every time I wake you up to go for prayers, you get up and then you go back to sleep. When you are in trouble, Allah will not help you. I said, wait a minute, why are you cursing me? To say that Allah will not, why? He said, I'm not cursing you. He said, Allah said those who do his own, he will also do theirs. If you help Allah, Allah will help you. If you do what Allah wants, Allah will also do what you want. So since you refuse to pray, which Allah wants you to do as a Muslim, then don't expect Allah to be on your side either when you need him. I got so terrified. See, all the whooping that my mother had been giving me for not going to pray,
yes, sir.
This statement by this brother had a more deeper and profound impact on me than anything else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So from then, I began to take my prayers more seriously. And Brother Joshua, I saw the manifestation of Allah's mercy on me from then on, in terms of when I need anything, when things are getting bad, all I have to do is just pray and ask Allah, say, Allah, I have nowhere to turn but to you. And I get my prayers were answered. So that had a deeper impact on me, to the extent that when I came back home on holiday, my mother would see me when it's time for prayer. I'll get up in the morning. She doesn't have to wake me up. I get up myself, go for prayers, come back when it's the afternoon prayer, go back, go to the mosque. I mean, I was observing my 5 daily prayers round so constant. She was like, After 2 months, she called me and said, what happened to you? I said, Mom, what happened? Like what? She said, since you came home, you've been, praying regularly. And then I told her, well, I said, Allah just, had that. Allah chose to lead me right. That's all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't tell her what somebody else told me, but I just told her that, we have to thank Allah for it. So, since then, I've not turned back. And I've always been a Muslim activist. I was active in Ghana with the Ghana Muslim Students Association. I was president until I left. And when I go to Nigeria, also, I became president of the Nigerian Muslim Students Association at the University of Ibadan. And I've always been, been an imam since 1978. I've been an imam since 1978. So all praise is due to Allah.
Excellent. Okay, and brother, and thank you all. You getting a lot of love in the comments. People saying you're their favorite teacher. Assalamu alaikum. Please send the greetings. Praise be to Allah. I have a question.
Oh, thank you. Praise be to Allah. Thank them all.
Yes, sir.
Thank them all. I didn't think I'm their favorite teacher, but I thank them all for the compliments. I thank them all.
Yes, sir.
And thank them all.
There's somebody who I went to high school with, who's from Ghana. And
yes, sir.
And he tells me that he wrestles with what his role should be in America and what he's doing, because he's successful financially, but he feels that he's not doing enough. What do you think the role of people from Ghana in America? What can he do to feel more fulfilled? If that makes sense.
Well, first of all, is he a Muslim or is he a Christian? Does he have faith? That's the first thing.
Okay. Yes,
so when you put everything in your faith, when you hold on to Allah, when you hold on to God, whether he's a Christian or he's a Muslim, when he holds on to his faith and recognizes the centeredness of Allah or God in his life,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
everything else will fall in place. Everything else will fall in place. When he puts God in the center of everything that he does. Because I'm not bragging, but I tell you one thing, Brother Joshua.
Yes, sir.
When people praise me or say things, oh, I don't get carried away by it. The more people praise me, the more fearful I am. Because it keeps me asking myself, what people are saying, what is my relationship with Allah? How does Allah see what I'm doing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So whatever position I find myself, whether even in my classroom, I tell my students, I'm not the best. I'm not the most knowledgeable. And my students are shocked when I say that. I'm talking about students at the college.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
the first day of class, I tell them, you are free to challenge me if I say anything that you don't agree with. Just make sure you are respectful in your talent and have your proof, to challenge what I say.
Yes,
I
sir.
say,
Yes,
because I'm not the one who will say I know it all just because I'm the professor. I don't walk around with that on my shoulder. Because in the Quran, Allah says, if you think you have knowledge, there's always, on top of every knowledge, there's one who is more knowledgeable. Whatever knowledge you have, there's always somebody who's more knowledgeable than you are. All right? So I don't get carried away by that, by praises. I always ask myself, whatever I am doing, it's not about people saying, oh, but Rufai is it, but I don't compete. I'm not interested in competition.
Yes, sir. Yes,
because
sir.
at the end of the day, I will be 6 feet on the ground. And when I'm in my grave, it's just me, my character, and what Allah knows in terms of the secrets that I hide.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I don't do things, the Quran says that woe unto those who pray because they want people to see them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't do things because I want people to see me. I do things in my best way, as much as possible in the heart of my heart, to please Allah, period. Whether you like that's why some people think I'm too blunt. Because my thing is, there's nothing you would do to me if Allah has not already destined that to happen to me. See, but a minister used to say that you cannot go up and stop my blessings from Allah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whatever blessing Allah is going to give me, you can't stop it. So my fear is first to Allah. My satisfaction is first to please Allah. Whatever I'm doing, I ask myself, how does this appear before Allah? So as a Ghanaian, as a Nigerian, as an American, as an African, whoever you are as a human being, if you make the pleasing of God the focus of everything you do, you will have self-fulfillment no matter what. You could have $1. You could have $1, and people will look at you and they think you're a millionaire. And it's because Allah blessed that $1 that you have. You could have, if money is what gives happiness, Hollywood would have been the happiest place to be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But look at all these celebrities, these actors and artists and all of that, and they're spending thousands and thousands of dollars with shrinks.
That's right.
Going to see the psychiatrist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because they are not happy. But if you make God the center of everything that you do, you will be fulfilled.
Yes, sir.
So tell him, it's not about being a Ghanaian. It's not about being an American. It's not about being Nigerian. It's about being a God-fearing person. If he's God-fearing in everything that he does, he will love his fellow man. If I see you, Brother Joshua, and I treat you like I would like to be treated, you see, that's the golden rule in every faith, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Islam
sir.
says, the Prophet, peace be upon him, say, La yumin ahadukum hatta yuhibbu li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsi. You are not a believer until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. And the Bible also say, love your neighbor, what? As yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right? And the Hindus also have the karma, the law of karma.
That's right. That's right.
So the point is that you do unto others what you like to be done unto you. But you have to love yourself first. Because if I don't love myself, I wouldn't know how to love you, Brother Joshua.
Yes, sir.
Because say, do love your neighbor as yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
how would I know how to love you if I don't know how to love myself? And when the prophet, peace be upon him, says, you are not a believer until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. But how will you know what you love for yourself if you don't love yourself?
Okay.
So tell your friend that he should make God-centeredness, God consciousness,
Yes, sir.
the center of what he does. And if he does that, his relationship with his parents will be the greatest. His relationship with his friends will be the greatest. His relationship with himself will be the best. Because when he's alone in his room, there's only one other with him, and that is Allah, and that is God. When he looks in the mirror, he sees himself, but God is there with us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let him know that this is my advice. I mean, that is what has helped me.
Yes, sir.
That is what has helped me, in my own journey. I don't do things to please anybody. And I don't compete with anybody for anything.
Yes, sir.
Nothing.
Yes, sir.
Honestly, when somebody is in a good position, I'm happy for them. When I see my brothers and sisters succeeding, I'm happy for them.
Yes, sir.
And then I pray that, oh Allah, in the same way that you bless this person, please bless me too.
Yes, sir.
But I won't begin to hate on them.
Yes, sir.
Trying to say, man, this person doesn't deserve this. I should have been the one with it. No, I don't. I don't do that. I'm always happy in my little shell.
Yes, sir. Okay, excellent. And once again, thank you all the people in the comments who are sending you so much love. Continue to send you the greetings as well, and saying Allah.
And I return my greetings to all of them and my love back to all of them. I love them all in return.
Praise be to Allah.
Your father used to say, hey, don't wait until somebody is dead and you say you love them. every time you meet your brother, your sister, let them know you love them. Tell them you love them. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, also used to teach us that. Teaches us that as well. Let people know you love them while they are alive. Because if you give me the flowers when I'm dead, I can smell it. So give me my flowers while I'm alive so I can smell it. And thank you for it.
Yes, sir, Brother Rufai. Well, I want to, yes, sir. The people are sending you so much love. And I love you, Brother Rufai, because once again, if it was not for you, I would not know Wahid, Ithnet, Thalatha, and Arba Hamza, Sita. Yes, sir. You taught me what I remember. I know it seems like I remember.
All praises to Allah. Well, there are some good teachers in Atlanta too that you can, you're never too old to continue learning. There are some good teachers in Atlanta that you can be able to, continue your Arabic lesson with them. Oh, and by the way, I'm giving a shout out to Brother James James Mohammed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's the one who's been doing my heating for me in my house,
Okay,
I mean, and he gives me so much love, even though he will want to do it for free. And I insist on, making sure that I pay him because that's his sweat,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And found out from him that brother, what's his name? I was looking for a carpenter, for my house. And but I called Brother James asking him for help. And Brother James told me, oh, Brother Reggie is a carpenter. I said, Reggie? He said, yeah. I said, which Reggie? He said, Reggie Spencer. I said, Reggie, my student? He said, yeah. So you see, the point is that when the Yoruba people have a proverb, they say that if you want to step on a wet floor, you have to pour some water down. If you want to step on a wet floor, pour down some water.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then you can step in it. Point I'm making from that is, if we treat one another the way we want to be treated, people see that, they feel it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If in the course of teaching, I was the mean teacher and I was selfish and I didn't really care about my students, but was pretending to care about them when I did it, it will pay back. when I was teaching at Harold Washington College, I had some students who came, and I was looking at this, I said, this, you look familiar. And she was about to leave and she said, Alaikum, Brother Rufai. I said, what? She was my student in preschool. I mean, first grade. First grade. You know, so I run into people, I run into former students of MUI,
yes, sir.
and even students in former students in where I am right now, you know, in city colleges,
yes, sir.
that will run into me and at the airport or other places, and they come and they help. And it's, you know, it's something that makes me realize that when Allah says that always be good wherever you are the one who gets the reward of it. You're the one who gets the benefit,
yes, sir,
of doing that. But if you are mean, you get that too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, you get to a place where the very person who could help you happen to be the one you deprived of the opportunity, or the one you were mean to. And then that person will be looking at you. Imagine you go to the hospital and you're about to be operated on. And the very doctor who is supposed to be the surgeon happened to be somebody that you had been so mean to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What do you think will happen to you? Even if he takes good care of you because he's taking that oath, he will make sure that your pain, you feel that pain more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
than you should.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But if it's somebody that you are very nice to, he will be rushing to see how he can help you to make things easier for you to get healed. So we are the beneficiaries of being good. But let us be good because we fear Allah. Not be good because we want people to pay us back. No. Be good because you know that being good is good to be good.
Praise be to God.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. So thank all of them, and my love to every one of them, and return of the greetings to all of them.
Yes, sir. Rufai, I just have two more questions, but before we go,
sir.
I just have to wait. I want to give a special shout out to the sponsors of this month's episode. 1 second, Brother Rufai.
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure that I give. Here we go. We do this every time. Okay, 1 second, Brother Rufai. This is all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast this month. I want to make sure that I give you all a special shout out. Cash App, the People's Podcast. It is without you, we keep going. My brother Rashad and his business partner Jamal, Street Premier Media Production. They have a 4K camera. They do television and film, and they're doing editing, and they have a drone camera. Please support them if you have some work. My sister Miriam has a children's book and a coloring book, ABC I Love Me, which is on Amazon. Please make sure we support her and get that book. My sister Naima has a dance. She teaches ballet, Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to children and young girls all across the country. Supreme Men's Clothing in St. Louis, Missouri. If you need some fashion, he will ship it to you. I'm coming right back to our brother Rufai. Raising Black Millionaires. Sister Tia Muhammad has flashcards teaching economic empowerment and development to young Black children. Brother Kenneth Muhammad, bow tie maker extraordinaire. Thank you very much. He will ship bow ties to you all across the country as well. Exodus, a new way of life. Credit restoration. If you need your credit done, reach out to our brother. Khalik's Boutique, they do custom shirts. Thank you very much. And they have another one coming up very soon that they're making for me. I'm coming right back to you, Brother Rufai. Brother Chantel, they pay truck drivers and they do refrigeration and shipping all across the country. Thank you very much, Brother Chantel. Brother Jabbar Muhammad in Chicago, Client First Construction Incorporated. They do painting, carpentry, flooring, and plumbing. Thank you very much for your sponsorship. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Leg here in Atlanta, Georgia. They have some amazing turkey legs and some specials coming up for Thanksgiving. Brother Rashad Muhammad in Chicago, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services. If you need some stuff cleaned during COVID, please reach out to Brother Rashad. My father, Abdul Sharif Muhammad, a soldier in the movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. Thank you very much, Dad. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book on Amazon, and No Father, No Excuse. Thank you all very much. Brother Rufai, got a quick question.
Thank you for, and make sure that you give your father the greetings for me.
Yes, sir. Oh, I
You
am.
know, I still remember the FOI training he gave me.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Yes, sir.
And my shout out also to Brother John Muhammad, who was the second carpenter that Brother James gave me his contact. I
Yes, sir.
called him and he came the same day and was, quick, did what I needed for me to install my countertop in the kitchen and get it done for me. And my shout out to him, and may Allah continue to bless all of our brothers and sisters who are doing for self.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And what do you do for fun, sir?
Well, actually, I'm a boring person. Only thing I do is reading.
Yes, sir.
Read and maybe writing. Most of the time. And if you see me doing anything in terms of watching, television, it will be news. I don't spend my time, doing some other stuff, especially with this COVID thing. But the other thing too is, of course, go to a movie, good movies, of course.
Yes,
Watch movies, once in a while, with my wife. But I love reading most of the time. Teaching and helping. The more I'm helping people, the more I'm volunteering in other places, and the happier I am. When I'm not being of use to anybody, I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from the words of the prophet also, that the best of you is the one who is useful to humanity. The best of you is the one who is useful to humanity. So I try my best every day, to ask myself what I can do. And every time I'm able to help somebody, I'm happier for it.
Praise be to Allah.
So that's fun for me.
Yes, sir. But I always ask every guest, what's their favorite musical album? Do you listen to music?
I do listen to jazz.
Okay. Who's your favorite? What type of jazz do you like to listen to?
Well, like John Coltrane.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
John Coltrane, is the first thing that comes to my mind. And when it comes to other artists, Nina Simone. Beautiful. I love me Nina. I can listen to Nina Simone all day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can listen to Nina Simone all day. So those are the kinds of music that I listen to.
Wonderful. Brother Frank, yes. What do you like? What do you want your legacy to be, sir?
That I put a smile on as many people's faces as I could. Amazing. That's all I care about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anytime somebody remembers me and remembers some smile that I put on their face or some good that I did for them, that's all I care about. And I do it for the sake of Allah. And I pray that Allah would say, yes, you did it for me, and I will be the one to reward you for it.
Praise be to Allah.
Because, Brother Joshua,
yes, sir.
There are people that if you do good to them, they will repay you with nothing but envy and jealousy and backstabbing. That's all they do. And there are people that when you do good to them, they will not say anything to you. They will even say thank you. And there are people that you do good to and they will say thank you and they mean it. But either way it goes, when you do good for the sake of Allah alone, you don't care whether you are appreciated, whether you are criticized, yes, whether you are backstabbed, whether they use it against you, whatever it is. There have been many times when I've been misunderstood. And I've always gone to the corner and say, Allah, you know my intention. You know that what people are saying about me or what they think about me is not true. And I relied on you. I rely on you, Allah, to be my judge.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's what I pray that my legacy can be.
Praise be to Allah. Well, you have a lot of comments. Thank you all. Once I put it on YouTube, I'm going to send it to Brother Rufai so he can see it. Brother Rufai, I love you, sir, on behalf of myself.
Love you too. Family. Love you too, Brother Joshua, and love your family as well.
And please give your family greetings, and may Allah continue to bless you, Brother Rufai.
You do the same for me. May Allah continue to bless all of us.
Yes, sir. All right.
And shout out to Brother Minister. Allah continue to be with him and grant him his mercies. And Brother Ishmael Muhammad, may Allah continue to be with him as well. May Allah bless all of them and guide them and protect them. I love you all.
Yes, sir. Same.
Oh, and Mother Khadija.
Absolutely. All right.
Alaikum salam, sir.